Yeah.
Oh shit, we are back. Finally.
We're on live.
We probably should do one of these every week, don't we? Sure, we're pretty much weekly now, though.
I think we said every other week, but I think we're doing it every week, so we're
Fucking overreaching, aren't we? At
yeah.
least you're not in a field somewhere. I feel like I need to go outside and sit outside. Sit outside.
Do you know what's funny though? Because I've got loads of shit going on. Like doing next week, I'll be around a pool, and then I'll be somewhere else to be after.
Podcast abroad. Fucking
yeah.
in it. Podcast on the move. But how's things with you, mate? Off season, full swing.
Yeah, good, mate. Growing, strong. Got the most insane lower back pump you can ever begin to imagine.
What's your weight up to?
Last time I checked, it was like 234.
And then you went like, what, 215?
I don't know. So it's difficult with me in it because I'm like in between weight classes. I play with fullness, so I never really check my weight. Like before the first show was 205, but that's depleted. Yeah, like carved up from there. But I carved up and dried out, so I wasn't much heavier. I don't fucking know. I didn't check.
Yeah, you didn't.
And I just go off the look. You know what I mean? And I think for the likes of you, you have to be like weight focused. For me, it just doesn't matter. It's how do you look? So I was probably
about with Samson saying that they just take the scales away.
Yeah, exactly. Because for him, what's the point? What's it matter what he weighs? So I was probably anywhere between 205 to 215, roughly.
Which is madness, isn't it? Like when you think 205, 215, people are like you put 10 pounds on and you stayed in comfy condition. But you can
literally just yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing a rebound?
What's that?
Doing a rebound?
Yeah, 6 weeks. 6 weeks is the aim. Probably just depends how long I can handle it, but I feel fucking sound, mate.
Feel good.
I've got loads of room to push, but I'm also trying to be like, right, learn from mistakes. You feel like you've got a load of room to push, you can ruin that in 1 week.
What would you say have you learned in the past, like mistakes wise, for pushing too hard?
I won't even say. I'd like to say gear, but I don't think it was. I think it's more just food. Just thinking, I'm starving, I'm hungry, I'm really hungry in between meals, and I'll just keep filling the gap. A couple of weeks goes by, and then you don't even want to eat your normal meals anymore.
Yeah, I said that. I said that to all my guys. Like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm like, good. Because the longer we can keep diet and digestion on point, the more we've got to push food. I find that as well when people come out of a prep, it's like that whole like permabulk fucking mindset where they're like, right, I'm going to eat 8,000 calories. And you're like, yeah, but now you just shot your load within a week and you're fucked.
Do you know what's funny? But everyone always says, well, I can eat loads, mate. Yeah, no, you can't, mate. You think you can.
Loads in one time, but like not consistently day in, day out.
Yeah. And well, once we push your food up, wait for 2 months and then let's see how much you can eat then. Yeah. And then you've got another 10 months left.
And the thing is if you're going to, I always say, like, if you're going to grow on 4,500 calories and we're growing a pound, 2 pound maybe, that's perfect. Just keep going.
You don't need more. Don't need more. In all honesty, mate, if I could grow on fucking 3, whatever's like that balance between you're making progress, you're not starving, and you're not massively full, great.
Yeah, that sweet spot, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's I have a lot of guys, they're so enthusiastic and keen, like, I want to grow, I need to grow, I've got like this urgency to grow, that they throw everything in the kitchen sink at it, and then it's like within 2-3 weeks, you're like, oh, I'm fucked.
I'm so surprised, that people are still so fickle in that respect, in terms of thinking like you can just grow 10 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Of actual legitimate fucking muscle tissue.
Like, I think it's desperation.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think they see the guys, like the top guys, and they're like, I need to be as big as them, or I need to be a pro, or I need to achieve this, or X, Y, and Z. And it's because they've got no sort of patience that they want to do it within a year.
Yeah, no, because imagine, right, like me going now, I've just gone up to 234, whatever it is, right? Also, I've jumped up like 20 to like 20 pounds or something. Wow, if I can do that again in the next 3 weeks, and then again in the next 3 weeks, I'm up near 300 pounds then. No, it doesn't work that way. No. You've got another fucking, I don't even think my frame could ever take me to 300 pounds. Like, you've got to just keep refining.
What do you have a certain set point where you'd push up over the last I know like fucking JP and that'd be like £30. Do you have a certain set point that you think right, or do you just go off the look?
So I worked with JP back in the day, so that was like the whole like 20 to 30 pound. But I never got there, no matter how hard I tried. So there's no set point because I push as hard as I physically can, and I never get to 30 pounds above stage weight. Yeah.
Well, technically now, realistically, you're nearly £30 over stage weight, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. This is like the most amount of like I've shot up and actually feel.
Yeah, I always do it with my weight cap. I just do £30 or £25 over that. I just always work it out like if we do, I know it's not technical, but if we do £2 a week per se of dropping weight, I can get down in 15 weeks. I can get down to the weight cap. Obviously, you can push it harder than that. But if you in a perfect scenario, £2 a week is exactly where you need to be dropping, really, in a prep.
Yeah, so I think with Jay, it was always a case of like, you know, if you ever look too sloppy, we'll start to pull. But it just never got there. Even when I got to the point where I can't physically eat anymore, I'm having digestive issues, like off season's a nightmare, I can't breathe, I can't sleep, I can't walk, training shit. My body still looks relatively lean. Yeah. So like the visual's still like, for me, you don't need to come down, but all the other signs are saying, oh, you need a bit of a break.
You need to pull that back in it. Yeah. To reset.
But rather than come back, we just have a bit of a break.
And like with a break, what do you mean? Like you just pull things?
You usually gear, right? Because that's just causing a lot of inflammation, which is causing tons of shit from happening. Which all that inflammation is going to stop you from wanting to eat, is going to stop you from sleeping, cause fucking back pumps, and you know, cause the motivation dip and all that. But you know, when you feel chemical, you can just feel chemical, can't you?
Yeah, just toxic.
Toxic, yeah, and you just feel like I just need to come off for a bit, and that always fixes it. And I don't really change an awful lot when I come off, if I'm honest with you.
You still eat like that 7,000 calories?
I say, mate, food just never pull back. Yeah,
really, just keep pushing.
Just keep changing food sources. If we're struggling with something, get an intolerance test, find out what's causing the issue, pull it out, put something else in, and then ride it again. That's what's worked up until now. And if it's not broke, don't try and fix it, innit?
Yeah, I think what mistakes I've made in the past is I've jumped in and gone, you know what, I'm going to do this amount of gear that from day one. And when I look at it and we reverse engineer from like a prep scenario, it's like, would you start off with fucking Tren, Masteron, Anavar, Halo, everything super strong? You didn't. You just slowly use them as tools to keep making progress. But in the off season, for some reason, you like when I was younger, it'd be like, fuck it, I'm gonna throw everything in the kitchen sink in week one. You know, like in the sense of like, I go a grammar test, I go this, I go that, and I'm like, I'd probably like say you probably only last 8 weeks, 12 weeks max, and then you're like, you might have a 20-week, 30-week run to do.
Burn out,
body just ends up just rejecting it and being like, it's one of the things in it. I think it is purely just out of desperation because you've got only such a small window of opportunity to grow, and it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, I think people don't realize how difficult it is. You know, I've had someone message me today, but it's the first ever like off season. It's only been like 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. First of all, this is amazing. I like the way that you don't use any, like I've just used whole food, so we're going straight to whole food. No issues with your magic cereal formula. That works too. But this guy that I know that would be game for the whole food, so we did it. And then 3 or 4 weeks in, and he's already like, I'm really struggling with that post-workout meal. Can we swap it to say cream of rice, whey, maybe cereal or something? I told you it's not going to be easy. Like it's not. So he was eating the food 20 minutes after training. He said, mate, you're pushing up now. You've never done this before. Like you're gonna be inflamed to fuck after training and not want to. Give it at least an hour and then try and eat your food. Because I said there's gonna be some point down the line when we're pushing so hard that then you're gonna struggle with that food. So if we swap it out now for something like your cream of rice or cereal or whatever, you got nothing to change down the line.
Yeah, no.
Wait until when we need to change it, when you're having to eat 400-500 grams of rice in one sitting and you're struggling, then it's time to change.
Yeah, I think I fell into the trap, or everybody falls into the trap of like even not spacing the meals out far enough, or not like actually a routine with your meals. Like in the off season, you have to have a solid routine with timings for meals. I find in prep you can kind of wing it because you're always fucking hungry and your meals are tight. Whereas like with off season, it's like, right, I have to eat at fucking 6, then I have to eat at 9, then I have to eat at 12, and I have to eat at 3. It has to be 3-hour intervals for me, because otherwise I'm just piling massive amounts of food on top of massive amounts of food. You just never, you've been probably in the same, you get to 12 o'clock at night, you're like, fuck, I've still got a meal. And at that period, what I would used to do, like you've done before we talked about this, you force feed it in. Probably the worst thing you could possibly do. Like,
I've done it when I've swapped, stupidly gone, right, I've got 2 meals left, it's 10 o'clock. Rather than staying up late, forcing these 2 meals in, I'm going to get one massive cheat meal now, pizza, burgers, whatever, to cover the 2 meals. When all you're doing is just twatting your digestion even worse.
It just makes you feel
get up in the morning, like, I'm not even hungry for meal 1 now.
That's the thing as well. I always say this the same thing with training. It's stringing together weeks and weeks of successful eating. It's not like, because I even find that myself, like, I could have a cheat meal, say pre-back, because obviously I'm trying to bring back up, or pre-legs or whatever it is. And that ruins me for the next fucking day for eating. And sometimes, sometimes it's not even worth. Like, I think you did it the other day. You're like cookies, ice cream, burgers, and like probably the next day you was like, "Fucking, this meal 1's fucking like hefty."
Well, to be honest, like at the minute things are firing, so that was like, I actually felt really good the next day.
That's good.
Just a crazy mad pump, fullness just sat there. But I'm still in that stage. Like, give it another 3 or 4 months, mate. I won't be having cheat meals like that. You know what happens? What happens with me is when I do my cheat meal, then it's more of just a break.
Yeah.
I probably, the protein source I choose 9 times out of 10 in that respect is like salmon or cod.
Yeah,
I'll choose. And then I'll still bump the calories up for the meal because it's a cheat meal, but I just choose things that's so easy to go down. Like, I won't be eating chips and pizza and stuff like that. I definitely won't be having a tub of ice cream.
I can't. I just can't. To be honest, I'm not the greatest of eaters. Like, I'm not a big eater anyway, so like I have to be on point with my food, unless I'm just like, I fucking don't want to eat. I could go all day without eating, like, happily. That's why I'm quite good at prep, because I'm like, I don't give a fuck about food. I just rather fucking not eat. Like, it doesn't make, I'm not hungry at all. It's a weird one, really, to be fair. It's the worst fucking possible sport ever to be if you're not a big eater.
To be fair, like that.
Hey?
Go on.
I spoke to a lot of pros though over the years, and they've said the same thing, like, not into, maybe it's just over time you've ate that much food, you think, I just fucking hate food.
I think you get fucking bored of it, mate, is what it is. But I think, like, if you was to go, right, okay, I'm just going to eat 3 meals a day now. If you were eating 3 meals a day in a deficit, you would start being like, shit, I need to eat now. But if you're just eating 3 big meals a day, like, you'd be sound. You'd probably be happy doing that.
Yeah.
Because, like, right at the minute, like, you sit down, you crack on with some work, and you're like, shit, I've got to eat. And then I can't work while I'm eating because it's a fucking job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've got to just, like, shut up and get on with it. And then by the time you, like, get back into the groove of working again, you're like, fuck me, I'm going to have to eat again. It's constant.
Yeah, I find that, like, in the morning, which is my best time to work, is like if I'm up and I have a window of opportunity to be able to get like 2 hours of working. I started doing it with my check-ins. I started putting my check-ins, like, you check in that day, and then the next morning I would do your update at like 6.
A pile of them then.
And I just fucking fly through them, because it would take me 2 hours, but I'd just be like boom, 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 because my cognitivity. I think I've seen it on like Christian Williamson's podcast as well. Like, they don't eat before podcasts because then they're not tired and they've got.
Mate, it works though. Yeah, so I've done it in prep loads where I've been like, right, I'll put my meat. It might be a rest day, but I'm not going to eat till dinner time, and I'm fucking smashing through work in the morning. Or even when I've had to fast for stuff, maybe a blood test or something, I'm like, fucking hell, I feel great.
Do you feel like
as soon as you?
I think there's merit in that for people who are not competitive bodybuilders.
1000%. If I wasn't a bodybuilder, I'd either not eat or have a small protein and fat meal. Protein, probably eggs, because the choline in the eggs is for cognitive function as well.
Yeah,
I'd probably do something like that.
In the morning.
It's whatever you find best as well, though. Do you know what I mean? You got to test it.
Yeah, just start in work. Yeah, I think there's definitely merit to it, because just anecdotally, I don't know the studies, but just me doing it feels like, fucking hell, like, yeah, I feel great. And then come to starving, but fucking I've got everything done.
Yeah, that's why I always just said then about loads as well.
That moves us on to the Q&A, because there's actually a question here like, what is your favourite cheat meal then?
Oh, what a fucking question, man. Right now,
let's do death row meal. So you're on death row, you get a starter, main, dessert.
Pussy.
But who though? Who's like obviously wife? Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. Difficult because right now, like when you're prepping, I know I'm not prepping now, I've just come out of prep. Burger and chips is king.
Yeah.
That's like the go-to. You feel like you're getting something good out of it.
This is your last meal. Your last ever meal, like starter, main, dessert. You get free reign. Go on.
Do you know yours?
I would say starter. Have you ever? I don't think you've had. Have you had Gringo sushi? Like cooked sushi. Yeah, like it's like a white. They call it like the white man's sushi because it's like rather than being fish, it's like chicken, pork, like crispy chicken, like that.
I've had them. Like yeah. They're very nice.
So that for starter, and then main. Oh, fucking hell. Don't really know. I'm gonna have to be a fucking.
So hard, mate.
Be a bore. Like I think I'd have to be like a boring cunt and get like, and I'm trying to be posh here, but like a decent like Wagyu steak or something with like chips, because like I don't know if I'd want to be a bit of a class. If I'm going to die, I want a bit of class. Like off remember Finding Citizen when he gets that steak, stabs him in the neck. Like that. And then dessert.
I don't know, because like for starter, me, I'm probably just gonna say squid rings, mate.
Right? What Wagger's squid rings?
Any really, mate.
Any. Not fussy.
Squid rings. No, not fussy. Means that for the main, right? When I say burger and chips, I'm on about takeaway burger and chips, fucking Five Guys type of shit. I wouldn't get a burger and chips in a restaurant. No way.
No.
But I to pick off a menu. What?
It's not the same. Like a burger and chips in a restaurant, it's not the same.
No, bro, it's not the same.
It's got to come in tinfoil and fucking dripping.
Yeah. It's so hard to answer, I think, for a bodybuilder as well, because 9 out of 10 times if I've been out and had a fucking meal at a restaurant, I've always gone, fuck me, I wish I'd have brought my own food.
I'll tell you, my favourite meal of the day, though, is actually going out for breakfast.
Yeah, agreed, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
I prefer like pancakes, French toast, waffles, over like fish and chips or whatever the fuck it is. I prefer that meal.
Got a sweet tooth in it.
Hey?
You got a sweet tooth?
Yeah, I love them, man. But even like
you'll have to come to this fucking this place that Mark Endzone shown us in Anglesey. When we go to the caravan, we'll let you know. We'll have to take you, mate. Incredible.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But dessert, I'd probably say like sticky toffee pudding or something like
that. Nice. I'm just an ice cream guy, mate. I've done all this boring in it. Proper boring.
Vanilla as well. Vanilla.
Vanilla. Proper fucking plain. But I'll be honest with you, mate. At the minute, the fucking ice cream of choice is Magnum.
I may as well just get you a fucking Happy Meal. Get you chicken nuggets, chips, and a McFlurry. Done deal.
Do you know why? Right. So we was going to get married in Italy, and the main reason we was getting married in Italy is because our favourite meal was spag bol. We loved spag bol, and it was game for pizza as well. And we're like, it's the perfect place.
Yeah, it is.
And then since getting hardcore into bodybuilding, Italian food just fucking destroys your digestion that bad that I'm like, nah, I don't have it anymore.
You don't even eat it, do you know?
No.
Oh, fucking hell, I miss it, bro. Mamma mia.
Yeah, but I have fucking steak mince every day.
Yeah, so you just
every single.
So for me, though,
rice.
It looks like pizza and that. To be fair, pizza's decent. Right, next question: who is your bodybuilding idol other than me?
Other than you.
Go on.
I'm gonna have to say the big DY.
Why?
He's the one that's influenced me because kind of the first person I was introduced to in terms of bodybuilding properly. Like, you know, I started late, me, so I seen, like, you know, it was like Philly from Kai Green. I was like, "Well, these are fucking freaks," but never really followed anything of theirs. But it was that blood and guts, mate. Like, that got me hooked. Even like I'd watch it before every session I do. I'd watch the relevant blood and guts video before it, and I'd watch the movement, how long he squeezed for, how he stretched, how he moved his whole body with it. I mean, I was like proper cued in from whatever he was doing.
Did you ever train at Temple? Did you get a chance?
I never, mate. No.
Yeah, I trained on their body power, but it was like, I couldn't really train properly because it was so like, you could, you know, if you shut your eyes and doing the set, you could see the video, and it was just like, and you walk down the stairs and all these like Olympia medals was there, but it was like almost like a surreal moment. You couldn't really focus on like training. You're just like, am I like
was he there? He would have been there, would he?
Yeah, he was there. Like everybody, it was years and years ago. And everybody, they opened the gym late for everybody who was working body power. They let us all like Branch Warren was there, fucking everyone was training. It was absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
but it was,
watch him train Branch.
You could just get on one machine and that was about it, and just fucking just keep repping that one. But I didn't care. I was like, Did
you watch Branch train? Branch came to one of the gyms I was at once and trained, mate. He nearly fucking broke the cable stack.
Yeah, mate. He trained in Preston, John Bridges, you know, thingy. And I always remember John Bridge asking him a question at the seminar, being like, "What do you think about people saying that American bodybuilders are lazier than British bodybuilders?" And mate, he's like the most intense person. He just looked at him with like this death stare and went, "I ain't fucking lazy, man." And that was it. Yeah. That was the answer. I was like, "Oh my god,
that's good, couldn't it?
Sweet." But yeah, I've watched him train a couple of times. I think my idol was definitely like Flex Lewis from like day one.
Oh yeah, of course, mate. Yeah.
Just because, obviously, like I've trained with him, not to name, but I've trained with him. I've met him, spoke to him, like, but it was more so I could relate to him. You know what I mean? I was thinking, right, well, obviously Neil Hill used to prep me when I was younger, and it was kind of like watching him as a business as well as bodybuilding, and how like things like the reason my Instagram is Ryan Rhino is because Flex was like, you need something that separates you from a Ryan this or that. You need to brand.
Yeah.
When I was like, that was like 2010, or 2000. So he was very much, and even down to the fact of like remembering people's names. So at an expo, we remember people's names, and like I was like, that's just a very good overall like ambassador for bodybuilding.
It was right though with your name, because even at the two bros on the weekend, look, what's funny is when there was like, is any pros in the house? He was naming them all. He went, "Is that Rhino? See?" Do you know what I mean? Rhino.
It's sort of like a brand. It's like a brand association, isn't it? People kind of just like, "Oh yeah, that's him." But it definitely works. But yeah, I think him. But like I say, I trained legs with Tom Platts at Strength Asylum, and like that guy's passion, I've never seen or felt anything like it. Like it for training.
Passion or pure fucking crazy.
That's what he was like. It was like. It was crazy. It was like, psychotic, like to a point. It was but the thing is, it like you came out of the seminar and you came away from speaking, like you could literally felt like you could do anything you wanted to.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That much fucking like it was that enthusiastic and that much passion about just being like a winner or whatever it was. I was just like,
just a genuine motivational speaker, and that's what he does now, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just more about as well, you know, when some people are motivational speakers and they're just scripting shit, because he's actually in there, done it, lived it, and then he tells you about it, but he's only telling you stories. He's not saying to you like, "You've got to do it, man, you're fucking this." He's just telling you a story, but the way he tells it and how passionate he is about it, you're like, "Fuck, man, this is."
Makes you feel like you're living it, yeah.
Yeah, I want to go train. Like he was like telling us about like when he was in Golds and how he used to get his fucking squat bar out, and he only used to squat once every 2 weeks. But he was like, but then they put me through a leg session, mate, and it was like, I'll be honest, I fainted, spewed, I was everywhere. It's done, mate.
I can say it's a bit too much in it. Like it's a bit like.
I think what was great about that was it then recalibrates what's possible in your head.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? It's like, yes, that leg session, really, you couldn't do that every week because it's just counterproductive. But then by doing that, when you go into another session, you think, I wasn't even fucking training. Like my limits
Yeah,
now,
you're right.
you know what I mean? My limits have moved to what's capable. I was fucking
Yeah.
about before. And you know me and Jay, like we train hard. So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
you're thinking no one else can fucking, I don't think you could train harder. And then he puts you for a session, you're like, I wasn't even fucking trying. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
I think them two, but yeah, it was good, mate. It was good. We're still not going to pay Dorian Yates how much we wants to fucking train that.
No, expensive, mate.
I don't know. It's a weird one that, because if you was to ask like one of the best ever, say Zidane, Beckham, whoever, to ever.
Yeah, it'd be a fortune.
So then it's like realistically in his field.
No, so to pay what we'd have to pay personally to train, no problem. But to pay for the videographer, that's a bit like that's taking.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you pay full price for them, and then you've got to pay for them to get over there and accommodate them. Then that's what stacks up. But me just go out there and train. I'm happy to pay that price, no problem. But you feel like I've done to get a video.
Yeah, you feel like, and I think maybe that's shit. Sorry, maybe that's because you're going to probably use his name to leverage your audience. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it is, isn't it, mate? It's business at the end of the
day. What next question? How much carbs should I cut when cutting down, and why?
When cutting down?
Yeah.
Bit of a vague question, really, innit? Because depends how many carbs you're on.
Depends how. So let's put a scenario on it. Started prep, your body's changed. You're 3 weeks in. You decide to cut a client's carbs, or the client wants, or say a guy wants to cut his carbs at 3 weeks in, and he's got cardio at a certain level, he's got cleaning and all that jazz. How many grams of carbs do you cut down normally on a ballpoint figure?
Probably only about 50. Yeah, not an awful lot. I'd be looking at what's in maybe meal one, and maybe like the last meal or last meal. I'd be looking at taking them from them meals first, depending where training is. If training, I'd always leave the pre and post workout training alone to the last. But definitely the last meal before bed, I'd look to pull from, or the one before that. Or if you're not training in the morning, I'd probably look to pull it from the morning meal.
This is what.
There's no right or wrong either. There's no right or wrong.
Not really. No, there's not. I like to keep the carbs grouped around training, because obviously that's where the uptake's going to be more efficient, where you're going to use the most energy. So this whole notion of you can't eat carbs before bed because you'll gain fat is wrong. The reason we would take it from that area is because you don't really need carbs at that point.
It's like at the end of the day, calories are what they are. It's not going to make a massive difference. It's just put them where they're needed, where they're going to aid.
Sometimes what I would do is I would take, say you've got like 3 or 4 meals pre-training or 3 meals pre-training. I would sometimes take from meal 2, purely for the fact that if they're doing fasted cardio, they're fucking going to be starving when they get in, and them oats are a fucking lifesaver. That first meal. So that meal 2, when you've got like chicken and rice or whatever you've got, I can sometimes take from that a little bit earlier on, so then they're not fucking dying with that first meal. Because you know yourself, if you've got a carbless first meal and prep, you're like, oh my life. So I've done it, but it's like I'd rather have fucking oats. But the other thing, what I do is my first thing would probably go like, say, 50 gram carbs maybe from rest days where we're not going to need them, and then maybe just 25 from, say, and again it comes down to what my first thing would probably be, maybe intra. I know you're not very big on intra carbs, are you? But I tend to use.
No, use them. No, I do use them, bro. Yeah.
So I'd probably take a little bit from intra, just because I'd rather than be eating the carbs than fucking drinking them.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about intra, to be honest, because a lot of people don't utilize carbs intra. But if they are using that, I'd definitely pull from there first, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd always leave 20 gram, maybe 20 gram in there. But like, if say you've got 80 gram. I'd possibly take 20 gram training day and then 50 gram from the rest day. The thing is
it's so vague though. It's so vague. It's such a you've got to know how they respond. Like even going off height and weight and all that shit. Like you can't go off that at that stage. That's from the beginning to kind of like have an educated guess about where you need to be. But after 3 or 4 weeks of knowing the person, you might even look at them and go, you don't need to lower carbs now. We're just going to pull because you've got more room to play in terms of up cardio, up steps, or if he's in a cycle.
Same thing what I always say as well. Like I'll look at and this is what a check-in form's for. I look at like, okay, so are you starving? Are you hungry? So you're telling me you're hungry? Because even though you meant to have non-emotional things, the best plan we can create is one that you can adhere to and stick to. So if someone's saying to me, I'm fucking grafting all day and I'm out fucking on site, and I'm like, right, okay, well, let's not up your steps because you're going to be fucking doing loads of steps anyway. If I up your cardio, you're up at fucking 5 and you start work, or you're up at 4 because you start work at fucking 6. If I up your cardio now, you're actually at post-workout, you're actually going to get home later. Right, let's take some fucking food from rest days when you're not doing fuck all. Just an educated guess on a whole level rather than people just being like, just cut 50 gram of carbs out. Like, coaching doesn't work like that.
Even like when you mentioned about, I said they'd probably look at the last meal, but if you take from the last meal and the person can't sleep because they're so hungry at night, you might be like, oh, we'll have to put them carbs back in that last meal and take them somewhere else. Because if them carbs are helping you sleep, that's what we need.
I've done that again. Again, it's like you say, it's all person dependent. How many sets and reps should I be doing if I want to grow muscle? What do you reckon?
These questions are so big, aren't they? It's so hard to answer. Like, who are you? How tall are you? What do you weigh? Yeah. What cycle you on? How many days a week you're training? Like, you got to be looking at what per body part. You can be getting away with like 8 sets.
Yeah. I think how I look at it is, let's start somebody on the lowest amount of volume that's going to be effective. So if we say, right, okay, let's go 5 exercises, 2 sets on each, we're hitting both rep ranges. Right, okay, now we can recover from that. And then again,
so like a heavy set and a back off, yeah?
But then for gear, it's the same thing. It's like, as we push up food and we push gear up, our ability to run recover, it becomes more. So then we're like, okay, well, maybe we can go a few more sets and a few more sets, rather than it being like, I've done it personally. Like, let's just use Milos as an example. You do Milos and he does 80 million sets, and you're like, right, by week 3, week 4, I'm fucked. Do you know what I mean? But then it comes down to as well, like you say, it's so vague, but then I think starting on the lowest amount of sets possible to elicit a response, to get strong and recover, you know what I mean? And then slowly start to add to that. Right, because you can always add. But once you get to a certain point where it's like, again, it's stringing as many successful sessions as possible together.
And this is why you then you check in, you track performance, how's performance, you understand the feedback from performance, right? Okay, you don't feel like you're getting enough out of that exercise, right? So let's get some videos, let's make sure the intensity is there, everything. You still don't feel like you're getting enough, okay, we'll use some intensifiers. We might do a triple drop set, see if that works. Then you add it to your fucking sets.
Yeah, that's
so it's going to be changing. So yeah,
you
say, you just
think if you're brand new and you're starting out, go with 4 to 5 like, just keep it simple. 4 to 5 exercises, 2 sets working across 2 different rep ranges, 6 to 9 if you want, 8 to 10 if you want, or 12 to 15, 15, 20, whatever rep ranges, whatever you feel best in, and then just slowly start to add to it over time.
Yeah.
Run it for a couple of weeks, add a couple more sets in. I think that's the easiest way to think it.
Unless you're a smaller muscle group, like if you're doing arms, do biceps and triceps for the full session.
Yeah, and I always tend to work in a higher rep range because of just the weight. By the time you get to a certain, like, you're doing 6 reps on a bicep curl, you're going to be killing some heavy weights, and it's just fucking injury. It's going to tear your bicep off.
Slightly heavier, slightly more reps, sorry, not heavier weight.
Yeah, lighter weights, more reps in a sense, just for avoid injury. Morning ritual before a show. Do you have a morning ritual?
Before a show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm just chilled to fuck me. You've seen it. I just go with the fucking flow.
Like, I'm a weirdo. Like, I'll go and get like a double espresso, because I was not really meant to drink that much water on. But then I'll always find like breakfast for like Jade or whoever I'm with, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's breakfast," and give it. Do you mind? Fucking hell! Get them pots washed. Get them pots washed. Toss her. She's had one wine. She's fucking kicking off. She's starting up boxing. Like, mate. Honestly, I messaged my mate. I said, bro, she's sick of me beating her up. Please don't teach her too much. I'm getting squatted. But yeah, so mine is just go and get double X, walk, get a walk in like I normally do, and then fucking double espresso, and that's all I really do on a morning of a show. Just chill.
Yeah, there's no really you can't ritual. I don't know. Maybe people have got some rituals, but like they're all so different. So last time, what we was all in London together, so we was all in an Airbnb together. We all just got up and cracked on. You know, my kids were there, and wife was there and shit. And when Mark was competing earlier than us, so he's like, right, I'm off, mate. I'm going to go and get tanned. Right, see you in a bit. There was nothing set. It's just you should be so chilled. Like,
what's the worst? You say the worst thing about like running up to a show? What do you hate the most? I don't mind this.
Organising places to stay and shit. I fucking just can't be arsed with that stuff.
My fucking pet hate is shaving and tanning.
Yeah, I mean,
mate, honestly, I don't even. I just lie on the floor, bollock naked, and Jay just covers me in shaving foam and just shaves me. But
I think when you're so fucked, you're so knackered, you're just so tired. You think I just can't. Shaving's an effort, and it's the last thing I want to do right now. It's an absolute.
I just cannot be bothered doing this. Like, I wish I just didn't have to do that. And tanning, because you always find, even though tanning girls are fucking mint, they're great at what they do. You have to travel there. You've got to fucking, then what's your time's your time, and then it's late, and then everyone's running behind you. You've got a meal, and you've got to check in, and it's like, I just want to fucking get on stage.
Put all your clothes back on. It's fucking minging with the tan on and shit. Yeah, it's a fucking bit of a ball ache. But like them last few days and that as well, if you're carving up, you're just even more tired. So like when you're then like, have you booked a room? I'm like, oh, can't be honest.
Yeah, mate. To the point where I didn't even sign the contract to do a pro. But yeah, I've got to sign that contract. It's like 10 minutes just to do that and send it off. But yeah, I think you're that laser focused on like what you've got, the job in hand, all the other bullshit that comes with it. You think I just can't be arsed doing all the trivial bullshit.
Just you was like, get me trunks on and just go and get on stage now. Like,
yeah, let's do a pose down in the hotel room. Let's do it. Do it.
Yeah. Send pictures, they'll do.
Yeah. Well, look at me. I'm one on Instagram. I remember that fucking in COVID. They probably would have done that. I'm sure they did that, didn't they? Like fucking video.
Oh, they was on about it. I don't know if they did, but I did hear something like that after like Hathor did his fucking world record deadlift in COVID.
Oh yeah, stupid. Would you rather have big legs and tiny arms, or big arms and tiny legs?
Well, I've got relatively big arms and tiny legs, so fucking hell, tough one. Like, are we talking like, right, we've got to put some in perspective here. When we say, are you talking, so I've got some big muscly arms but skinny legs, or are we talking like legitimately like massive long arms and tiny little stumpy legs?
No, I mean, like, I think they mean like, obviously, would you rather have an arms being your weak point and legs being your good point, or
I'd rather have better arms and just wear pants, bro, innit?
Would you? See, I would rather have, as a competitive bodybuilder, I think you win shows with legs, but you're not. So if someone's got an 18 or 20-inch arm, you're never going to beat a guy just because you've got 20-inch arm and he's got maybe like fucking 70. You're never going to.
Better on stage with better legs.
Yeah, but if I was just, but in general, like, yeah, I'd just rather have bigger arms than bigger legs.
But yeah, you can't because you can. If you've got pants on in the winter because it's fucking cold and you're covering them big ass legs and you're walking around not even looking like a fucking bodybuilder.
No, he's looking like a cyclist or some shit. Fucking cyclist. Right, let's have a. I think we've kind of covered most of these. Do you think vaping helps when on prep with hunger? Would you recommend it?
I mean, I've definitely heard it does, but I don't vape. Just if you're hungry, mate, just don't fucking eat.
Yeah, I don't vape. I don't vape at all. I just don't really fucking do anything. No. I know a lot of bodybuilders. I think, sorry, mate, fucking sound like I'm vaping. I think like I've seen Joe and people like that who are like proper addicted to them. Like
a lot of them, mate. Fucking Jay Davis, Magic Eye, fucking addicted.
Yeah. That's what because I think it's habit. It's more like you can't eat, so you can do. Yeah.
I got in the habit of smashing chewing gums, mate. Like, and that. I won't ever do that again. I've never done it this prep, but
yeah, I used
go
to
through a full pack in 5 minutes.
They
Yeah.
used to do that where you
Stomach
find all like the best, you know, the American ones and the fucking different flavors.
Yeah.
Like Bubba Bubba and wow, chewing my fucking jaw. Another one, best way to keep fat free in off season, how and what it takes, no fat allowed. Okay.
Just like when if you're saying in off season, that means you're coming off for prep. Yeah. Just don't be a dick, man. Push up slowly.
Yeah, I think what it is, I don't think you should be too worried too much, depending on where you're at in your bodybuilding career. I think there's a certain time when you're younger, you do have to put some level of body fat on to put that extra mass on. But tired, bro.
Yeah, actually,
same. Should we just have a little sleep?
Yeah, just get over. People can watch us sleep the next half an hour.
I think people have paid for it. Like, remember Big Brother? Like when people, Big Brother Live, he was watching people sleep. I'm like, I remember walking into mates. I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Watching Big Brother." Like, they're asleep. I was watching it live. You weird cunt. I think in different scenarios, different parts of your bodybuilding career, there's areas. It was like, you know, Matt, who came to train arms with us, my client.
Yeah.
And he was like, "How do you and Kieran stay so lean?" And I'm like, "You've got to remember, we've got 10 years of bodybuilding behind us, shit ton of fucking GH, no, but like we don't really
muscles oxygen demanding.
Yeah, and we don't have the time to put on. We don't have massively long off seasons where we can put on a accumulated shit ton of fat. So it's like we've got probably 6 to 7 months of gaining, and then we diet and gaining, and then we diet. So it's like,
like you just said before, right? Once you've been doing it for so fucking long, you don't have the mentality that people like him will have after coming out of his first prep, where he wants to eat chocolate, crisp, cookies, pizza. You now look at shit subconsciously, and you make better choices subconsciously, because you're always looking at something going, is this going to fucking benefit me? If I'm having something off what I'm supposed to be having, I'm going to get some benefit out of it. I would never just, like, if you see, like, let's just call them normal people, mudbloods, whatever you call them, they will just sit there and eat a fucking, like, a packet of noodles, like, with no protein in it, or just noodles on their own.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't make no sense to me.
I just used to cook them in a kettle.
A what?
I used to have to cook noodles in a kettle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No protein, mate. No, just tuna packs. If you were,
you see, I can't hear them like Spider-Man behind me.
Would you
try to duck? Could you just?
If you were PM, what law would you put in place, and what law would you get rid of?
If you're a PM, what?
What law would you get rid of, and what law would you put in place?
Oh, mate, don't start opening up these types of questions now. We're gonna get fucking sent to jail and shit.
I think a collective global one is like pedophiles should be not the death sentence, but there should be harsher rules for pedophiles.
Right, yeah, but yeah, I agree with that, right? But as with anything, convicting anyone of anything, it has to be 100% solid.
This is why I didn't say, like I say, the death. I don't really maybe agree in the death penalty. I don't think I do, because, like you say, there's always maybe a chance that they could be innocent. But I don't know. I think
let's just say now, for example, you went to some party and you got with some. Hypothetically, I had no wife. You got no Jade, right? And hooked up with some fucking girls.
That time again. Let's go.
And they were actually underage, and you didn't know, yeah? And you had no idea they were underage. And then all of a sudden, you're getting lumped in for fucking paedophilia or whatever. And now there's a rule in place that they're going to either kill you or chop your dick off or something. When, like, are you really a pedo for doing that?
No, obviously that's why I think with every crime, there's obviously different punishments. There's not just straight do you know what I mean? But I do think be a higher deterrent or a higher. I think I've seen where, like, pedophiles are getting fucking 4 years and your mate's getting fucking 20 for fucking selling drugs.
Selling drugs, yeah.
It's like, really, I think, what the fuck, like, and I know people can say, oh, the ripple effect of drugs and the crime that it makes and not paying tax and this, but I don't.
Yeah, but they're going to buy them anyway. They're going to buy them anyway.
But
If one person doesn't,
I think that's probably, and the only, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't even really create a law. I'd just get rid of congestion charges because we just got fucked for them in London. No,
Jesus Christ, yeah.
I don't, no, there's not really, I don't know. I don't think.
I don't know, mate. I'll be honest, mate. I don't think about shit like that too much, if I'm honest.
No.
I've got a good life. I enjoy what I do. Like, I've really got no real qualms. And
what I would say
yeah,
is, what I would say to that as well, though, is I always preach to people, stop complaining about things you can't change. There's no point moaning.
Or if you are going to complain about it, at least make an effort to go and do something about it.
Yeah, but
go and actively do something.
So, for example, it's like you can't change tax. You can't change it. So sitting there going, oh, no. We've got so much tax and I've got to pay this tax. Like, right, you either become smart and fucking financial literate or employ someone who is and fucking do whatever you need to do to get it down, or you just fucking sit there and complain. And there's loads of people who just sit there.
Yeah. So that's exactly like I just said then, right? If you're going to complain, do something about it. So if you're going to complain about tax, find a way to legally decrease the amount of tax you pay. And there's loads of fucking loopholes and there's loads of different ways you can do it. Like you say, just get literate with money. I'm fucking not great at it. I know you're not. We're not great at fucking money, but there's people out there that are. So employ someone that fucking is.
Yeah.
Then you actively do something about it. Then you can't complain.
Yeah, you won't.
But yeah,
we're just complaining for the sake of complaining. That's what a lot of people.
Shit,
Which one of you is the least flexible? And this is actually from your missus, and she wants to request 3 moves.
The least flexible.
I think you're the least. I think you're the least flexible.
I'm 100% the least flexible, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting out of the chairs, a fucking effort for me.
Just getting out of the chair. But you've been working out in the mornings, haven't you?
I have, mate. Right, I have, but it's like I honestly think this is genetically, right?
I was going to
even when I used to
morning, actually. Sorry to interrupt you, but I've actually got a guy who helps me. Like, he's a stretch, not my arsehole. He's a stretch coach.
Yeah.
Like he's just fits me, but but he's a really nice guy. He cuddles me out, so but no, I've had a couple. He is really good, and what he'll do is he'll assess like your how you walk, your movements, and then where it's tight, and then he said you're incapable of stretching yourself at this level of bodybuilding and how tight our muscles are. Is like there's no way you can PNF stretch or put yourself through that stretch or that range of motion. It doesn't happen. But I do.
Mate, that's I need that.
Yeah, mate. I was going to tell you about his. He's great. It fucking kills though.
I know, mate. It's going to be beautiful, isn't it? So I actively try to stretch, right? Nothing major. I'm not doing fucking 2 hours a day, but I'm having a fucking good go every day. I've even got like psoas tool, foam roller, lacrosse balls, all that shit, and I have a fucking good go. But it doesn't get any crawling behind it. It doesn't get any better, mate. It gets better there and then, but then it just locks back up.
Yeah, you can't fucking, you can't keep it up. Like, in a sense, it just tightens straight back up, doesn't it? Unless you really,
Well, you see, when I train, right? When I train, I use the weight to take me through the motions.
Like rocking.
No, but like, so for example, say when we've been on the pendulum, I've got no issue with getting asked to grass, have I?
No. The weight will take.
The weight taking it down, but study trying to do it, I can't get in. I can't squat down. No chance.
What's another one that we've got? How much Slim do you use pre and post workout?
5 and 5 at the minute.
Yeah,
I have Nova, but I have Nova in the morning with meal 1. Meal 1's a bit of it. No, sorry. I have 5 with meal 1.
Why do you?
And then I have 7.
Why do you not use Lantus meal
1? Probably will at some point. But just really going heavy on meal 1 and pre and post meal. Yeah, big meal.
How many meals are you having before training?
3.
3.
So meal 1 carbs. I'm on like, I have like 200 berries, 130 cream of rice, 30 honey, bagel, 40 jam. I mean, it's quite heavily carb.
Yeah, so you need
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I've got like a 300-gram rice meal after that, which is pretty standard for me. And then before training again, high carbs with banana, honey, cream of rice. That's when I put the 5 in. So,
yeah, I do that. I was doing 5 IUs post, and then it's just gone to 5 IUs post and pre. So just slowly. But I use 25 IUs Lantus in the morning.
yeah, I've done it. I've done the Lantus and all that.
Yeah.
I've tried it.
But
This seems to be working best for me right now.
Hey, that works best for you, does it?
Right now, it seems to be. I've done the Lantus in the past. Didn't really see any massive changes. This time, I'm staying like, but everything else is into play as well, and it's hard to fucking gauge what does work.
I found with the Lantus, what was happening was it allowed me to stay in a really good spot when I woke up with like blood glucose. So it's like my blood glucose would be fucking through the roof. Take my Lantus, it pulled me right down, and then for the rest of the day, it was pretty stable. I think people who are not as even with clients, I think people who are not as on point or not as educated or not as experienced as us, Lantus is quite a good starting place for them to be like,
yeah, definitely 100%.
Like you're just a fucking 100%. Idiot if you fuck it up. You basically got
to no spike.
Yeah, you got to take it and not eat for 18 years and then die. But like, but that's what I tend to use that with clients, because then we can definitely utilize the carbs each meal. And then obviously, you know yourself, like more experienced clients who've used it more, I'll do it with the Nova, and then just start at one point, and then as the meals go up, then add it in at the second point.
Yeah, but I'm like you say, like the Nova, like I'm putting it in, not for the exact amount of carbs that's in the meal. Yeah.
Oh no.
So let's just say if it was a 200-gram carb meal, and I'm using 5 grams of Nova to utilize 50 grams of the carbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put 20 in to cover the whole meal and then chance actually going fucking hypo.
I don't think it's needed.
It's not.
It's not needed at all.
No.
I'll be honest. I've done 20 I use pre and post, and I couldn't train.
Yeah, you can't move.
I couldn't move. I couldn't train. I thought, yeah, it'd be fucking sick. Add that in conjunction with growth hormone and Lantus, you're like, it's almost like a false sort of. It's just fullness. It's crazy amount of fullness, crazy amount of pump, but I don't really feel like it's new muscle.
Did you get lower back pumps like struggle walking?
Everything, mate. Like my hands, I just literally like edema. Like I was just like fucking. But we had this discussion as well. Like I couldn't use heavy weights. I couldn't fucking use.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you just think, well, I can't bent over row, I can't T-bar row, I can't. And like, if you need to bring your back up, these are like on the days I was doing the 20 IU pre and post, was obviously back days, and I couldn't move, mate. I was like, this is just pointless. Like everything, I was waddling around like fuck me. But don't get me wrong, the scale weight was going through the roof, but it was like a false sort of weight.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Doesn't feel like it's going to stick, does it?
You don't know. It just feels like if you come off it, just like see you later. And I know a lot of guys who've done that with the preps, and they'll be huge in the off season, get on stage and they fuck all, because it's just a false sort of fullness, isn't it? A false sort of.
Yeah, they don't totally flat, don't they? Like you say, you can actually use insulin like in a prep if you do it right to get leaner.
I've used insulin. Like the only time I would take the insulin out realistically is when my carbs come right down, and they never really come right down. I might take it out like say a month out, but the rest of the time, if insulin doesn't make
I used the Lantus and growth hormone the day before and the day of the show on Portugal.
Yeah, carb up wise.
It was fucking bursting.
I do that.
Super dry, super full. Yeah, it was crazy.
I think
you've got to be fat.
You've got to be fat free, and you've got to kind of, the person you're working with, you've got to know how they react. If I was going to do that with some, I don't really tend to do that on my guys, but if I was going to do it with someone after, I want to be there.
Yeah, I've never done it either to someone.
I've done it.
First time I've tried it. I was worried about it, thinking I'm going to fuck it up, I'm going to look a mess, but you got to try something, haven't you?
You have to, and like you say, it was crazy fullness, wasn't it? Crazy fullness, and like we always say, if you've got things to hand like aldactone or fucking diazide or these, you can always take the water off. It's just a balancing act, isn't it? Can you make a beefer for one night with me before the end of 2023? That's probably to me that.
Yeah, I should say it's probably not.
Yeah. No, I can't do it. I can't do another night. I'm fucked. I'm straight off. I'm done.
I've had enough.
Hey?
I've had enough.
Yeah, mate. I was. It was great, but again, it was like fucking hell. Like
it's a nice break in it, but you need a break when you get back.
It's a nice reset, yeah. But it's I think the only good thing is about it, or the thing that I always forget is how how big we are compared to normal people.
I know it's you don't realise this sometimes. Like I don't know where I was the other day. Might have been traffic centre or something, and it was my daughter that said to me, she was like, "Does it not bother you, Dad?" I'm like, "What?" It's like everyone's staring at you. I'm like, "Are they?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when they walk past, they all turn around, and I'm like, "Well, I don't see it because I can't fucking physically turn back round." So.
Yeah, it's my fucking tool. I'll do a quick stretch and I'll have a look. Fucking. That's pretty much all the fucking questions, mate. The only thing I'd say, like, coming up is we've got this weekend's show, which will be good. But the PCA, aren't we? Got a couple of guys in that. What do you think? Have you seen anything of Regan and Nathan?
Yeah, both just fucking nuts, mate.
What do you reckon?
Like from everything that you see on socials, yeah, you got to go with Regan. But I actually think that it'll be Nathan on the day.
Yeah, Samson made a very good point actually on Fuad's podcast. Oh, thank you. Yeah, Samson, I'll ring you later. Sorry. Samson made a good point on Fuad's podcast. He said that Nathan going round for round just gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
And actually Regan, well, hopefully he can go round for round, but he normally fades.
He does fade. And I feel like you can see that in the physique. Like I think he'll start to look like he's getting softer, right? That's what I'm saying. From Instagram, Regan, he looks bigger, he looks more peeled, shape's incredible. But then Nathan's shape's fucking freaky as fuck as well. But he's just gonna be hard as nails, like extremely fucking hard.
Yeah, and I think, like say, once he gets that, it's so hard to judge until they stand next to each other, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so hard, mate. Because as well, like I think from pictures, Regan looks huge and Nathan doesn't actually look that big. But I don't think it's looked that way.
Well, they were saying, I've never seen Regan in real life, but they were saying he is like a big person.
But they seem huge, aren't they?
Yeah. But actually, like pose for pose, it doesn't matter. Like
you've got to hit the pose, and then because he's a big person, he's big joints, big frame. Don't mean shit because Nathan's got them small joints, round muscle bellies, like a flex wheeler just popping everywhere, look twice the size.
If his condition's insane or like any normal Nathan's condition, he will just make it look like you're out of shape.
Yeah, and I think he's actually what he reckons and he does look that way, that he's going to come in even more peeled than he's ever been.
I think he's got fucking Stefan, hasn't he? And Stefan doesn't really miss. Doesn't miss at all.
No.
To be fair.
No, people get
so it's a weird one, him, because I'd like to like see how he works with people, because I know he works with a lot of good guys. But I've watched some of his stuff on JP, but I don't know, he just seems like he wouldn't have a clue.
Well, strange because Ewan worked with him for a bit.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
Yeah. Well, I was with JP at the time, and he worked with JP. JP worked with Stefan, and it was just the same setup, really.
Yeah,
it was the same type of training, and it was they use like the serial post workout kind of thing, which is what Nathan's doing now for the first time ever in his life.
Right.
Yeah. So like it just seems like the same kind of setup. Everyone just has their own way, don't they? It's all going to work.
I think when you get to that level of coaching as well, and even at our level of coaching, it's more about managing people and getting the best out of that.
Yeah, the setup with the cream of rice and the cereal, or the setup with the whole food, or the setup with the low intensity or high intensity training, it's all going to work with a caliber of athlete that's going to fucking work hard, nail the plan.
But it's how you get that, how you keep that athlete on that track.
Happy.
Yeah,
on a perfect level.
Mental state and happy, and again, even dealing with everything outside of fucking bodybuilding. It's like, can you keep the athlete motivated, on point, And then I think the only thing, well, speaking to Martin when we had that leg session, probably peaking is probably the bit where that's the hard bit with the guys who are that big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, where that's where you'd learn over time, like, okay, like do you know what I mean? You need to really know what you're doing at that point.
Yeah, like fucking what did he carb Lewis up on? It's ridiculous, wasn't it?
It's like 8,000, 9,000 calories, mate. Fucking nuts. But like we said, we wouldn't even have the balls to do that. You'd underfeed him.
Scared.
But again, it's when you start, I think when you work with an athlete for so long, you'll get to know kind of like what the script is with him as well, because some people wouldn't need that. Because I've seen it where you listen to Olympias where Phil's come on and then Phil Heath say, and then at the night show he's like fucking twice as good.
Because he's at more. So I think most of the time, I reckon 9 times out of 10, these athletes when they're that big, and people go, "Oh, he's not in shape." No, he's just not at enough.
Yeah.
They're probably just not at enough. When you look at someone like Robert Fritz, who bangs in probably 2,000 grams of carbs a day and he's fucking carb up, he's always fucking peeled, and he's not as big as some of these other guys.
I was having this chat with Jay the other day though. Can you imagine like how stressful Olympia weekend would be? You've got
for the athlete.
Yeah, you've got athlete meeting, you've got sponsorship, you've got photo shoots, you've got obligations, you've got fucking registration, tanning, fucking meet and greet, traveling.
Yeah, especially if you're a newbie and no one's really sponsored you. Well, they still pay for your apartment and all that shit, don't they? Because obviously,
well, even say the top guys, like you think about Bumstead, right? How long his queue is 2.5, 3 hour long queue, and he's got. And we do that in Expo when we're fucking off season, and we're like, oh, I'm fucked, I'm going to bed. Can you imagine that, like the day before your show?
Yeah.
Your match.
Yeah, he's roughing it. He's proper rough.
Your eyes would be burning. You'd be like, "Fuck, I'll just get me to fucking bed." Like, and it's like, nope, you've got this obligation.
You don't think about sometimes you see him there on stage, but you don't understand the journey. So, like, when he's in Portugal, you know where like Vlad, massive, the one from fucking
2-on-2.
Yeah, was chatting to him and he was like, "Bro, fucking the gym that was in." He went, "I'm staying upstairs." He said, "I got here. It's something like I missed my flight. My flight was cancelled. He had to then get different flights to get there, which is stress as it is. Never got his luggage. He's there for like 2 weeks or something. It never arrived. They totally lost it. So then they'd fucked his apartment off because they weren't able to check in. So the person that owned the gym said you can stay upstairs. So he's got no luggage in a different country, staying upstairs in a gym like another week until he competes. And like you don't. And then people go, "Fuck me, didn't look great on stage." Fucking no wonder.
Yeah,
I
think you like I was saying, because I was like, imagine I was saying to Jade, imagine going to the Olympia weekend and be sick, and she's like, "Do you reckon it would?" I was like, "I don't know, because it'd probably be very fucking stressful because you'd be like, you'd be mad stressful. You probably wouldn't even be able to take it in. You'd be that like
because I think you'd be like, if you were like lay there on the bed chilling, you'd be thinking, what's next? There's something like I can't just keep chilling here. There's something I've got to go and do somewhere.
Yeah, I think it'd be.
And then even forget about all the obligations they've got. With no obligations, just walking around, they're going to get stopped off everyone because everyone's there to see them.
Well, this is what I seen it on a podcast with Seabum, and people was like, "Why the fuck did you have that big ass coat on?" And he was like, "I cannot. You genuinely can't walk through a fucking lobby without a crowd of people." Yeah. I think it's Ian Valliere said if he takes one picture with one person, there's a fucking queue of people. Like, well, he said, so you can't really just say, "Oh, I'll have one picture, right? I'm going." He's like, he can't do that. He's at that stage of like being that popular that you can't fucking even move without for people stopping you every 2 minutes.
I wouldn't wish for it, mate. I wouldn't want to be like that, would you?
I guess I wouldn't want to be, but then if you're Mr. Olympia, it's kind of it's a trade-off, isn't it? You're gonna have to be that's for that weekend. But like I say, just leading into a show like that must be stressful, must be fucking mad. And then trying to carb someone up at that size like that, fucking rather than me. So when do you go away then? Saturday?
Saturday, yeah. So
were you training that way away?
Yeah, mate, but I'll be bang on. Like nothing will change. Got the like a 5-minute walk to Aldi, which is next door to the gym called Happy Gym. I need to pay for my week's membership. And that's it, mate. I'm in a villa, so I cook. I'll probably just have a meal out every night, probably.
And just chill out that way. Happy days.
Yeah, but my meal out will be, I'll just replace a meal for something similar. Apart from if it's a leg day, then I'll go all out and have a bit of a cheat meal. Nothing changes. Just stress-free, innit?
Yeah, I think it's more that that like we said, reset and detaching from like normality and normal routine.
We'll still be working, you know, we'll still be doing client
Yes, if you
work,
want to sign up for fucking coaching, sign up.
Get on it, fucking message me, bitches.
Not bitches, because
You'll
obviously
see some videos of my story of me fucking riding around on a scooter because I just can't walk very far.
it'd be like that thing off Saw.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Right, bro. I'm fucking. Are you tired? I'm tired. Fucking hell. I want.
Bro,
That's not bedtime here. I need to get my fucking aircon unit, my CPAP, my fucking lights, my sleep socks, fucking lavender on the pillow.
Fucking sleep socks.
Mate, I just take a zoppy and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Right, mate. I might talk to you tomorrow. Might not do. Don't know. See how I feel.
Probably will.
Thank you for watching. It's been absolutely amazing having you all here. If you've got this far, you are weird. Why are you still here? Stop watching. Get off. Get a life.
Ciao for now.